I'm going to surprise you with the first thing I say this morning. Brother Hyles keeps a chart in his briefcase, carries it with him all the time, everywhere he goes, and he very carefully keeps up with how many hours he works each week, each day, each week. He logs in his hours just like a truck driver logs in his hours and his miles when he's on the road driving and so forth, and he keeps up with it. Nearly 70 years old, he works a minimum of 84 hours a week. A minimum of 84 hours every single week of the year. Last year took a 2-week vacation, first time in 28 years. But other than that, 84 hours a week working. And I don't mean piddling around, running the grocery store for his wife and stopping by, picking up some milk from some widow in the church and all that kind of stuff. I mean working. Dedicated, concentrated, hard work that relates to the work of the ministry here. 84 hours a week. Some of you don't work 30 hours a week. I dare some of you to go home and keep up with your hours for a few weeks, and you'd be shocked at how much time you actually spend working in something related to the church. This week, for example, we're going to spend, probably around 34, 35 and a half or so hours in sessions and preaching services and so forth here at Pastor School this week, and some of you are already exhausted. I'm no tireder right now than I was last Saturday when I got out of bed. I was here in the morning before some of you got out of bed every day this week, and I'm no tireder now Thursday at Pastor School than I was last Friday or Saturday when I got out of bed. Bless God, around here we've learned to work from Brother Hyles. Now, I don't keep up with Brother Hyles. I don't claim to. I like to say I can't keep up with him. That's a big lie. I'm too lazy to keep up with him. But I don't keep up with Brother Hyles. But I do put in a minimum of 76 hours a week in the work, the different work that I'm related in the work around here, the church, the college, City Baptist, and so forth. I like what J. Frank Norris did one time. He was preaching in a conference meeting, and there were several hundred preachers there staying on like a campground, kind of a campus place, and they kept asking him one at a time. They kept coming up and saying, Brother Norris, would you tell me the real secret to how you built that great church? Would you tell me the real secret? You know what that question is? That question is somebody that's lazy, that wants an easy way out. There is no real secret when you get that spooky look on your face and ask that question. There is no real secret to it. But J. Frank Norris finally got tired of him asking that question. He kept telling him, I don't have time. I don't have time to tell you. I don't have time to tell you. I don't have time to tell you. And they kept asking him. So finally he said to a couple of them, he said, look, I tell you what. You meet me here in the auditorium tomorrow morning, and there's been a couple other guys ask me same question. You get them to come with you. And tomorrow morning, 5 o'clock, I'll meet you here in the auditorium, and I'll explain to you the real secret behind how I built that church. Boy, word spread all over the campus. J. Frank Norris is going to tell us the secret in the morning. 5 o'clock in the morning, J. Frank Norris is going to tell us the secret. He got there that morning. The building was packed with preachers. 5 o'clock in the morning. He walked to the door, walked her to the pulpit, and he said, get up at this same time every morning and you'll build a great church, and walk back out. For example, let me just show you. On Sunday morning, Brother Hyles gets here at 7 o'clock when some of you are still in bed. And he's here till 10:30 on Sunday night while some of you are at Denny's. Except for a quick bite to eat for lunch. He runs home and just a few minutes in the house and a bite to eat with Mrs. Hyles and right back. And that's his Sunday schedule. Then, of course, on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, he travels and speaks, and I'll get back to that in a minute. You'll be surprised about something related to that. Then on Thursdays in the office, 8 o'clock in the morning, minimum. That's the latest he ever gets here. Then here till 10:30 at night on Thursday night, except for a quick bite to eat with Mrs. Hyles for supper. Runs home, get a bite, and come right back. And works here on Thursday night. Then on Saturday morning, here at 8 o'clock on Saturday morning, at the minimum, the latest he gets here on Saturday morning, I go out to the college on Saturday morning to meet with my bus workers before they go out, and I get to my college office around 5 or 5:30, and then I have several meetings with my different groups of my bus workers, and then I rush down here to the church to meet with Brother Hyles at 8 o'clock and the other school principals. And often when I get here at 8 coming in to meet with him, there's somebody leaving his office that's been in there counseling with him for a half hour or so, or meeting with him and so forth on Saturday morning. So the latest it gets here is 8 o'clock. And there'll be some, but often it gets here before that even, because when I get here at 8, there's someone else. One morning I was going to have a meeting with the man that runs City Baptist School, Brother Dave Douglas. He's the principal of the school and runs it on site there. And he and I needed to have a meeting, and he asked could he see me, and I said sure, I'll see you in the morning about 5:30. I meet with a lot of my staff at 5:30, 6:30 in the morning, while some of you are still in bed. Bill McSpadden asked my secretary one time to get an appointment with me, and she said that she looked and checked the schedule and checked with me and got back with him. Said, yeah, next week at 8 o'clock, he said, meet with you on Tuesday morning. Bill McSpadden said, 8 o'clock? I'm going to meet with him at 8 o'clock? He said to my secretary, you know those T-shirts they wear, I survived the blizzard of 95 or something like that? He said, I'm going to get me a T-shirt that says, I had an appointment with Ray Young after 6 o'clock. He said, I've never done this before. I've worked here in 15 years. It's never happened before. But one morning I told Dave Douglas, I said, sure, I'll meet with you in the morning at 5:30. I've got a little extra time at 5:30 in the morning. So here on this property that morning. And so I was going to meet with him at 5:30. And when I walked out of my office at 5:30 to see if he was there, Brother John Francis had been in my office meeting with me before that. And John was walking out as Dave Douglas started in. And I heard Dave Douglas say to John Francis, hey, I thought I was going to be the first appointment this morning. Did you work the midnight shift? 84 hours a week minimum that he puts in. On Saturday, I was telling you, gets here at 8 in the morning, stays till about 10:30 or so on Saturday night, except for a quick bite to run home, get a bite of supper, and come back. That's 14, that's 43 hours he works in 3 days. That's more than some of you work in 7 days. 43 hours he puts in 3 days. Now, what about when he's out of town? When Brother Hyles is out of town, he spends a minimum of 8 hours a day working on work that relates to this ministry here. 8 hours a day minimum that he spends working on the work that involves anything that has to do with the work that goes on here. But now, here's one thing I want you to understand. Even though he works 84 hours a week, he does not take away any time from his family in order to do that work. Brother Hyles spends, now this part's going to surprise you. Brother Hyles spends 26 hours a week alone with Mrs. Hyles. 26 hours a week alone with Mrs. Hyles. Now, he doesn't take a day off, but he's not opposed to you. Some of you have a younger family and you have children and so forth, and he's not opposed to you taking off 1 day a week, but he is opposed to you only working 3-4 hours a day, every day, all week long. But if let's say there's 168 hours in a week. He works 84 hours a week minimum, spends 26 hours a week alone with Mrs. Hyles. Then let's say if he slept 6 hours a night, and he doesn't, but let's say if he slept, he doesn't average, he probably averages about 5.5, but let's say if he slept 6 hours a night, that'd be 6 times 7, 42 hours a week. So 84 hours working, 26 hours with Mrs. Hyles, 42 hours a week sleeping. That's 152 hours a week that he's occupied now with something worth doing. He's got 16 hours left over every week. 16 hours left over every week to preach 2 or 3 sermons a week in your church and to shower and shave and do all those other kind of things. Now, of course, when he says 84 hours a week working, he's including his prayer time and his Bible study and that kind of stuff in there also. But 16 hours a week that he sort of leaves unaccounted for, if you want to call it that. And he spends 2 or 3 of those hours preaching in your church on Monday night, then 2 or 3 more hours on Tuesday night. But anyway, that's a joke, folks. So basically, all he does is work, spend time with Mrs. Hyles, and sleep. Why does he live that way? At his age, Brother Hyles has seen 2 generations change. I'm talking about 2 generations. He's watched them lose their zeal. He's watched them lose their fight. He's watched them lose their fire. He's watched them lose their determination. He's watched them lose that thing inside of them that makes them grab hold of something and just shake it and say, I've got to get something done. He's seen them lose that. You know what breaks my heart is I look around at my generation, and I don't worry that many will ever lose it. There's not many that have it. There's somebody in this generation that's going to have to catch on to this thing, that we've got to grab hold of something and shake it and get something done for God. Who's going to pack out the Genesis Center on Wednesday night of pastor school 30 years from now? Who's going to have 12,000 in the amphitheater in Chicago 30 years from now? Who's going to have 1,200 in their church 10 years from now, or 20 years from now, or 30 years from now? Somebody in this generation is going to have to grab hold of this thing. Basically, now I don't keep up with Brother Hyles. I don't claim to. He outworks me and he outthinks me and outpreaches me. And, you know, I don't claim to come close to keeping up with him. But basically, I work, spend time with my wife, sleep, and go to my daughter's ball games. No, they're not cheerleaders. We don't have that. I mean, they're not athletes. We don't have that around here. They're cheerleaders. We don't have girls athletes around First Baptist Church. And neither does any other fundamental Baptist church. But somebody in this generation is going to have to catch on to something that Brother Hyles has. Now, he often says to us in here at First Baptist Church, he says, there's not much I have that I want you to have. And he often uses the example, except I want you to learn from me, that to be aware of what's going on around you. But I tell you what, there's something else he has that we need to catch hold of and get, because he's got it. And that's this thing that I'm going to get up in the morning and go to work and work hard all day and stay out late at night. And I don't mean piddling around and fellowshipping and going to fellowship meetings and eating at Denny's at night and going out with the other boys and playing and hunting and fishing and all that kind of stuff. I'm talking about grab hold of something and go to work. Say, Brother Ray, how can he do that? How can he work 84 hours a week? Spend 26 hours with Mrs. Hyles, and I think 42 hours sleeping, and only have 16 hours left over for the whole week for all the other kind of things. Tell you how he does it. It's because he doesn't go fishing 2 or 3 times a week. Somebody's going to have to catch on. It's because he doesn't hunt 2 or 3 days a week during hunting season. Somebody's going to have to catch on. Some of you spend more time in your deer stand during hunting season than you spend with your wife. Some of you spend more time with a fishing rod in your hand year-round than you spend knocking on doors. You have more calluses in the palm of your hand than you do on the knuckle of your hand. I'll tell you how he does it. He doesn't bowl 2 or 3 nights a week. Somebody's going to have to catch on. I tell you how he does it. He doesn't golf 2 or 3 days. And I know some of you sitting there looking at me right now like you're looking like a calf looking at a new gate. You're trying to figure out where I came from, how I got in here, how soon I'm going to get out of here. But I tell you, there's 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or a dozen guys in here, and sometime this week, they're going to catch on to this thing. And before they leave here, they're going to say, bless God, I see what it's all about now. It's more important than watching Lucy. More important than watching Andy Griffith. It's more important than fishing 2 or 3 days a week and hunting 2 or 3 days a week and eating at Denny's 2 or 3 nights a week. I'll tell you how he does it. He doesn't watch sports. I'll tell you how he does it. He doesn't read fiction. He can do it because he doesn't go out to eat after the service. He goes back to his room and goes to work. And we, no, I'm going to be honest this time, bless God. I'm not going to be clergically polite. It ain't we, it's you, bless God. I don't do this either. But you go out to Denny's after church at night and sit around the table and fellowship or gossipship and talk to the other preachers and cut up and laugh and make little jokes about the fact that Brother Hyles is back in his room working and you're sitting at the table goofing off on at night instead of getting in there and getting busy and going to work. And it's because the reason you're making jokes about it is because you know you ought to be working too. Now I ask you tonight, this morning, is there really a hell? Is there really lost souls? Is there really people dying? Is somebody in this generation going to get a hold of this thing and say, bless God, if a 70-year-old man can work 84 hours a week, I can get out of bed before 6 o'clock in the morning? I'd be ashamed of myself if I was 35, 40, 50 years old and I let a 70-year-old man work twice as many hours as I do. How can he work 84 hours a week? When he gets to the airport, instead of going to the snack shop, the magazine rack, getting out a Time magazine or a Newsweek or some of those other printed lies, or reading a novel, or fellowshipping with somebody, he finds him a quiet little corner somewhere, gets his briefcase out, and goes to work. How can he do that? How can he work 84 hours a week? When he gets on the plane, he doesn't sit there and talk to the guy beside him and eat the meal that they serve. He gets his briefcase out and goes to work. He told me he averages eating about 1 out of every 20 meals they serve on the airplane while he's there. The rest of the time he's working. How can he get in 84 hours a week of work? Tell you how he does it. When Mrs. Hyles has a little emergency and needs to go to the dentist because of some problem she's having and she needs to be rushed over there late in the evening and Brother Hyles is at home with her and he gets in the car and drives her to the dentist, he doesn't go over there and watch television in the lobby of the dentist office while she's back there with the dentist. He takes his briefcase with him and pulls a table up next to the couch and gets his Bible out and his paper and pen out and writes 2 sermon outlines while Mrs. Hyles is in the dentist chair. The dentist and his son run the office together, and the son's back there with Mrs. Hyles and the nurse fixing her tooth, and the father of the dentist office comes in the middle of the evening to see why the lights are on, finds Brother Hyles working, made an office out of his lobby. He said, man, what are you doing? He said, I'm working. He said, this is my lobby. He says, not now, it's my office. Why does he do that? I'll tell you why. Because Brother Hyles is employed. Some of you preachers want to be an employer. You want to be the big shot. You want to call all the shots. You average 120 in your church and you want to hire 4 staff members. I had a pastor call me not long ago averaging 100 in his church, and he wanted me to recommend 3 of our graduates to him. He could hire them. Bless God, if you've got enough money to hire 3 graduates, buy you some buses and go fill them up. Get off your lazy duff and do the kind of work you ought to do. You don't need an assistant pastor when you run 100 in Sunday school. You need to go to work. Now, obviously, there's a lot of differences between Brother Hyles and what some folks would call the typical preacher. I call Brother Hyles the typical preacher. But there's a lot of difference between Brother Hyles and some that they would call a typical preacher. But one of those differences is many pastors consider themselves self-employed. I hate that term. I don't know where that came from. There was a time when basically you worked for an organization, or you built an organization, or you flopped. But now they have this self-employed, sort of do what you want to do. Now, if there's a businessman here this morning, you call yourself self-employed and you consider yourself to be successful, go right ahead. But you preachers don't need to be self-employed. Brother Hyles is not self-employed. Brother Hyles is employed by the needs of his people. The self-employed preacher basically does what he wants to. Brother Hyles doesn't do what he wants to. If he did what he wanted to, he'd go play golf. If he did what he wanted to, he'd take vacation 3-4 weeks every year. He's taken 2 weeks in the last 28 years. The fact that he's employed by the needs of his people causes him to do what the needs of his people need him to do instead of what he wants to do. Brother Hyles feels answerable to his people, to the needs of his people, as far as his teaching, his preaching, his counseling, his leadership, and so forth. However, he also arranges the church business in such a way that he's answerable to the people for things like the finances in the church. You know, Brother Hyles will get up here and throw a fit and walk around the platform and say, this area right over here is mine, and this area is mine, and bless God, this area is mine, and this area is mine, and what happens up here is none of your business. But the moment he gets off his platform, he turns that off. And he goes to the business meeting of the deacons. He says, it is your business. This is our church. And Brother Hyles and the deacon board recommends to the church how they think the church budget ought to be set up. And then every member in the church, every little child, every teenager, every adult has a vote on the finances of the church. And Brother Hyles then is answerable to the church for how he and his staff operate the church finances within that budget that the church has drafted at the recommendation of the deacons. He makes himself abide by the same rules, if you want to call them that the other employees abide by. For example, we have here at our church what we call a purchase order system. That means that if you want to purchase something, you don't just go down to the store and charge it and come back and say, well, we'll pray and by faith we'll pay for that someday. That's called being dishonest. What we have is a purchase order system, and that system simply works like this. Just let me take about 60 seconds to explain it to you. Every Monday morning, the financial secretary puts a certain amount of money in each account for each ministry of the church. Let's take janitorial budget. Let's say she puts $50 in there on a Monday morning. Now, it's much more. It's hundreds of dollars, but she puts $50 in there on a Monday morning. So the janitor says, Monday morning, I need to go down to Joe's Supply House and buy some things. Would you give me a purchase order for $10? So she subtracts $10 from his $50. Now he's got $40 left to spend for the rest of the week. So he goes down to Joe's Supply House and he buys the supplies and he comes back and he gives her the receipt, and he only charged $9.50. So she adds the 50 cents back in. Now his account has $40.50 for the rest of the week. So he comes back in on Wednesday and he says, you know, the floors really look bad around here. I think I need to wax all the floors. I need $45 worth of wax. She looks at his ledger page for the week and finds that he only has $40.50. So she says to the janitor, the financial secretary says to the janitor, no, you can't have $45. You can only have $40.50. So he buys $40 worth of wax and waxes part of the floors and leaves one undone till next week. Do you know that Brother Hyles operates under that same purchase order system? Do you know that the financial secretary of this church tells Brother Hyles no When he calls her on the phone and says, I was walking down the hall the other day and I noticed in room 300 some chairs in there look all worn out. We need to buy some new chairs. I need to charge $300 worth of chairs. And she looks in the budget that buys chairs and there's only $275 in there. And she says, Brother Hyles, you can't buy $300 worth of chairs. Now, Brother Hyles puts himself in a position to where he operates under the same rules and regulations as the rest of the employees. He's employed by the needs of his people. And his people need to feel like they can trust him, that he's an honest man, that he operates the budget the way they voted for him to operate it. When Brother Hyles became the pastor of the church here 37 years ago, the church offered him, I think it was 4 weeks a year of vacation. But the rest of us fellas, when we're hired on the staff, we get 1 week a year of vacation the first year. We get 2 weeks of vacation the second year. After 5 years, we get 3 weeks of vacation and 3 weeks every year thereafter. Brother Hyles would never take more time off for vacation than he allows us to take off. Like I said, in the last 28 years, he's taken 2 weeks. But he would never, for any reason, take all 4 of his if we're only going to get 3. He puts himself under the same rules and regulations that we're under. He comes to work same time we do in the morning or earlier. The staff is due in at 8:30 in the morning. Here on this property, the ladies, the secretaries, are due in here at 8:30 in the morning. They work from basically 8:30 to 4:30. Now, many of them put in a lot of overtime, but they basically work 8:30 to 4:30. He never gets here at 8:30. He's always here 8 o'clock or earlier on the days that he's in town. He stays till after the staff leaves. You never see Brother Hyles slipping out 30 minutes ahead of time. He leaves 15, 20, 30 minutes, 45 minutes after the rest of the staff does. He works here in the office during the day. Now, of course, sometimes, he has hospital visits to make and stuff in the middle of the day. But he works the same hours or more that the rest of the staff does. At the college, he doesn't have a reserved parking space up front. He parks out in the back. In the back of the student parking lot's about 100 yards from the main building. Brother Hyles doesn't even park in the best spot in the student parking lot. He always parks in the very back of the student parking lot out behind the buses, or out by the buses. Several years ago, one of the men here on our staff had a little bit of a unique need. And so the deacon board recommended that the church raise his salary a few $100s a year in order to meet that need for a while. And so they did that, and so that one man makes just a little bit more than the rest of the men on the staff. And so that one man makes one of the assistant pastors makes a few $100s a year more, or several $100s a year more than Brother Hyles makes. Then Brother Hyles makes the exact same salary, within just a few dollars, the same salary that all the rest of us fellas here on the staff make. And basically the same benefits as far as, the church helped buy his house and like the church provides a home for some of us. But the church leases some of us a car to drive. Brother Hyles doesn't even take advantage of that and use that. He basically takes from the church the same salary that all the men on his staff. Let me word it this way. Brother Hyles doesn't take administrative privileges. He's employed by the needs of his people just like the rest of the folks around here are employed. If you'd catch hold of this thing and learn to get up in the morning and work hard all day and put the hours in that Brother Hyles puts in, you'd be shocked at the results that you would see. Thank you.
I hate to give you a break because I don't trust you to get back on time. We're going to have a 3-minute break. Actually, we're going to have a...
I'm so glad to be here with you today. I'll tell you what, it's a blessing to be here. I was thinking the other day, you know why Jesus was crucified instead of stoned? So Catholics could go like this instead of... You know why the Catholics do this when they pray? They say, "Oh Lord, my head hurts, my stomach hurts, and I can't find my cigarettes." Oh. The other day I was driving down the road, a policeman stopped me and I said, "What's the matter, officer?" He said, "Your wife fell out about a mile back." I said, "Oh, thank goodness, I thought I was going deaf." Well, yeah. You know, my uncle's funeral really costing us a lot. It's cost us $10,000 so far. We buried him in a rented tuxedo. Yeah. You know, my wife, she's so skinny, every time she gets a run in her nylon, she falls out. You know, we have a lady at our church that never shaves under her arm. Looks like she's got buckwheat in a headlock. Well, that woman, she's so big that she wore a Malcolm X t-shirt and helicopters kept trying to land on her all day. Ladies, I've got something you'll like. It's called, we've got a new Bible out here. Yes, now you can charge hell with your Master Charge Bible. Except at more hot places than any other version. We also have out a new Bible called the HAC, Hyles Anderson College version. All the letters are 6 inches apart. You know, I was thinking, you know, you might be a charismatic if Michael Jackson comes to your church to learn new dance steps. You know, the other day I saw an old lady digging through the dumpster, digging through the garbage, and every time I see that, it warms my heart, and I have a special love for those ladies because they saved my life several times when I was a baby. The other day my sister came in and she said, "Bucky, you're not smart enough to talk to an idiot." I said, "Okay, I'll just write you a letter then." You know, at our church, at Bucky Baptist Church, we have a lady down there, and she's so ugly that Halloween everybody dresses up like her. Yeah, a lady in my church, she came up to me and she said, "Bucky, I finally got my husband to quit biting his nails." I said, "Wonderful. How did you do it?" She said, "I hid his teeth." I asked my son the other day, I said, "Son, do you know the meaning of impeccable?" He says, "Yes, it means it's totally inedible by chickens." When I started my... Sometimes I get a little tickle myself, you know. When I started the church at Buckytown... Let's try that one again. When I started my church at When I started my church, wherever I started that thing, when I started my church in Bucky, Kentucky, I learned real quick, you don't slap a man who's chewing tobacco. We try to do everything like Brother Hyles, you know, and he has his own cemetery with a mausoleum and everything, so we put up a mausoleum too. We have a sign on the outside. It says, "Remains to be seen." Did you ever notice, fellas, how women always tell everybody not to tell anybody? Help me, fellas. Somebody say amen. I'm in trouble now. Help me. Well, you know, I've been bringing you different types of Bibles and all, and today I brought my collection of Bibles that I got from famous people, and I'd like to show you some of them today. I have right here Liberace's Bible. Yes, this is Liberace's Bible. Oh, I can't find Romans 1 in here. I'll tell you. Must be the HIV version. I see it has a lot of study aids. Well, we better move on here. I got Jim Baker's Bible. It's from his prison ministry, Inside Out. I got O.J. Simpson's Bible here. It comes bound in Italian leather with isotoner gloves. It's also red letter edition. I also have the Oprah Winfrey Bible. It comes in 2 editions, large and small. Elvis Presley's Bible, blue suede. It comes with a swivel cover. Also, I have King Kong's Bible, but it was too big to bring in here, so I leaned it up against a building across the street over there. You can go over there and see it anytime. I've also got Rush Limbaugh's Bible. Touched by his never-before nicotine-stained hands. Well, I'm glad. I hope these Bibles have been a blessing to you here. Just a minute, I gotta pack them up again. A little souvenir for you, Brother Hyles. That's for in case you pass out little chicks at Easter again. I'd like to leave you with one final word. I'll be back shortly because I can't come back tally. God bless you.
Those jokes are not approved by the administration. In fact, it's a good thing some of them are not presented for approval. All right. My good friend, Dr. Jack Scopp, is going to teach the next session. You probably heard me say it, or maybe you read it in something I've written. But friendship is not a relationship. Friendship is the material which binds all relationships together. The reason my sister and I are close is not because we're brother and sister, because we're friends. Friendship is that which makes brothers and sisters close. The reason Mrs. Hyles and I are close is not because we're husband and wife, but because we're friends. See, father-son is a relationship. Mother-daughter, husband-wife, brother-sister, pastor, member. But friendship belongs to all of those. It's not a single relationship, which means that a marriage will crumble unless there's friendship. A brother-sister relationship will crumble unless there's friendship. And Jack Scopp is my friend, and I'm his friend. I said in one of my books, happy is the man who has a friend. Happier is the man who is a friend. Happiest is the man who has a friend and is a friend. Jack Scopp is more than my son-in-law. He's more than an employee here with me or a fellow worker. He's more than a teacher at Hyles Anderson College. He's more than a great preacher. He and I are friends. And he's going to talk about the old Jack Hyles, the friend. God bless you, Brother Scott.
Okay, we have a 30-minute lecture coming here, and I want to give you all we've got. If I was to... Oh, most of you wouldn't know preaching if you heard it. In fact, this is the first time this week some of you have ever heard preaching. Just this week. Back what you do back home, they call that expository pussyfooting. Yesterday, Brother Tom Vogel preached and made a statement about Brother Hyles being copyable. I think other people have mentioned that. That's one of the words we use often around here talking about our boss and our pastor and our preacher and our leader, Brother Hyles. He's copyable. And in so many areas, that's exactly true. As a preacher, there are little Jack Hyles running all over this country, screaming, hollering, kicking over microphone stands. In fact, one of the greatest compliments you can give those of us who love Brother Hyles is when somebody says, you know, you sound just like Brother Hyles. Man, I want to high-five you and shake your hand and sign your Bible if you say that about me. I couldn't think of a nicer compliment to be paid. And he's made himself copyable as a preacher. As a teacher, he is copyable. As an organizer, he is copyable. As a prayer, he is copyable. As a giver, he is copyable. Many other areas also. In fact, he is one of the most copied men I'm aware of. But if there's an area that I feel that is the hardest area for me to copy him, is in the quality of his friendship. Let me say this. I have yet to find the preacher who has copied the quality and depth of Brother Hyles' friendship. Don't get me wrong. Look at this crowd here, and there are hundreds of men who lay your life down for him. There are men here who have proven your friendship to him overwhelmingly, and I love you very much for that. And there are men here that you have a friend or some friends, and you are a very dear friend to one another. But all of you know that when you need somebody to call on, and you're a preacher, there is one number you can call. No matter what you've done, no matter where you've been, no matter what the problem or difficulty is, and the best word you'll hear on the line is, hello, this is Brother Hyles. And boy, when you hear that right there, you think, I got my friend. Those of you who are sitting in this room right here, you'd give anything to feel in your heart what I felt a moment ago when Brother Hyles said, Jack Scott is my friend. And many of you are here for a lot of reasons. Some of you are here because you are his friend, and you don't need to prove that. You just want him to know it. You just came here to say, just want you to know again, I'm your friend. Some of you here are craving his friendship. You'd love for him to somehow acknowledge that you exist and somehow make you feel that you're a friend of his. Every one of you here would love to spend the time that those of us on staff and faculty get to spend with him. When we take a trip together, about 2 or 3 times a year, he takes me on a trip with him somewhere, and you know, I can see the envy in some people's eyes. I said, well, you get to spend 2 or 3 days with him? Uh-huh. And eat meals with him and enjoy his company, and I do, and I love every minute of it. Several years ago, when I first came here on a tour, over 19 years ago now, I came here on a tour during Christmas break, and a young man gave us a tour of the buildings here, and we came by the office complex over there, and we stopped by Brother Hyles' door there, and he said, behind this door is my preacher man. We love him. And he moved on, and I lingered behind the crowd, and I looked down the hallway both ways and looked behind me, and I reached out and I touched the doorknob on Brother Hyles' office door. I held it for a few moments thinking, man, this is the doorknob that he opens and walks through his office. Every Sunday night and every Wednesday night, my family and I go into his office. We have a little orange juice or soda pop to drink, tell a couple of corny jokes, and cut up with each other, then leave. And every time I walk in that door, I grab that doorknob, and I have the same feeling I had over 19 years ago. I'm walking in the door Brother Hyles uses. Now, many of you know what I'm thinking and what I'm feeling when I say that. You feel the same way about him. Brother Bird does, I know that. When he gets around him, he just gets those goosebumps all over him, and he talks about it and thinks about it. And a lot of you who won't even admit it, you feel the same way. When you get within 6 feet of the man, you kind of feel like you're getting closer to God almost. I'm not saying he's God, I'm saying he's a godly man. I'm simply saying you feel like you're close to a man that you'd give anything if he would say about you, there's my friend. But I have yet to find a man who has learned how to copy and emulate the depth and quality of his friendship. Now, before I get into all this about friendship, I want to help you today. I want you to listen real carefully. I need to teach you a couple things, what I have observed. This isn't material that I've read. The best material I've ever read on friendship is Blue Denim and Lace. One of his first books he put out. If you haven't read it, read it, study it, memorize it. Great stuff. But he asked me, gave me this assignment, he said, Jack, he said, you have studied my life. I want you to give the people you have observed about my friendship. This is what I have observed about Brother Hyles' friendship. First of all, I need to say this as kind of a prerequisite statement. Dr. Hyles, number one here, Dr. Hyles got where he is without trying to get where he is. That's real critical to understand that statement. Because so many of us have a very immature understanding of friendship. We're trying to use friendship to get us where we can't seem to get ourselves. Now, nothing wrong with using that. You're here at pastor school, many of you, you're young men, a lot of you college preacher boys, you all came to Hyles in college or at a Bible college to get where you want to be. But Brother Hyles didn't get where he is trying to get where he is. He simply said, here's what I believe, here's what I'm going to do. You all know the story. If you haven't heard the story, you haven't joined Brother Hyles as fundamentalist in a long time. But he made those 5 rules, 5 principles he lived by way back he took me to the very spot in the woods, a little pine thicket out in East Texas by Marshall, Texas, where he said, Jack, right there is where I knelt and I made those 5 decisions. One of those 5 decisions was I won't make money be a deciding factor in my ministry. But one of them was I'll be a friend to my friends. Now, I didn't understand that for years and years, but I have observed him, and I've noticed that one of the major differences between Brother Hyles' friendship and the friendship of so many other people, myself included, is that I like to use friendship and use people to help get me where I want to be. The problem is Brother Hyles ain't trying to get anywhere. He lets God take care of that. He never said, someday I want to have a big nationwide pastor school, but a lot of you would love to have one. He never said, I can't wait till so-and-so passes off the scene so I can inherit his ministry. There's a whole lot of Baptist buzzards in this place, though, can't wait for the old man to die so you can take up some of the remnants of his ministry. Vultures circling the field, just waiting for death to creep in. Let me ask you something. What happens if he doesn't die? Some of you tried to kill him in 1989, and boy, he got revived, resurrected. He came back pretty strong, didn't he? How's the crowd look today? I think it's a little bigger than it was 7 years ago. It might be, he might bury you. He might just outlive some of you young bucks that think you own fundamentalism. What's going to happen if he doesn't die, and if you get buried by him, what you going to do? You've wasted your life waiting for the old man to drop off. You circle on the fringe of this place. You're the last ones in, first one to leave, don't register, don't pay your bill. You just kind of sneak in here to kind of rub shoulders. You kind of want to be associated with, kind of drop your cards all over and let your tracks be known. Here, you know who I am? Do you know who I am? Yeah, a bag of hot air. A Baptist buzzard circling the field waiting for to die. Bless God, I hope God makes him live 100 years old. And I hope he goes to your funeral and says nice things about you, and I'll sit there with black veil over my face and smirk. Tough luck, pal. You lost again. Because you don't understand the concept of friendship. Brother Hyles isn't waiting for you to kick off. He's trying to mooch off your ministry. He's not competing with you in that area. He didn't come here and say, boy, I hope nobody does it in Chicago before I do, because what would I do then? When he came here, there was about 3 independent Baptist churches. Now there are 70. Most of them pastored by our graduates. We got one 3 blocks north of us, one a couple blocks that way, one a few blocks that way, one a couple miles that way, and then out in the Chicagoland area, dozens and dozens and dozens of them. He gives them money, prays for them, loves them, brings them down, spoils them rotten, buys them suits, takes care of them, and says, I love you. God bless you. I want you to succeed great. If you see our bus kids, more power to you. He's not competing with that. He's not trying to steal somebody else's ministry. It's really important to understand that, and that is he got where he is, not trying to get where he is. He said, God, I believe this Bible. By the way, when I played the tape this past Tuesday, wasn't he preaching from a King James Bible then? Same Bible, same hollering, same spitting, same pulpit manners, the same man. He didn't say, I think if I do this, this will someday make me popular. Then when Dr. Rice passes off the scene, I can inherit his ministry. It was offered to him. He turned it down. Dr. Rice, I want you to succeed me the sword. He says, no, I want to pastor my church. Now, some of you men got to stop circling the field waiting for him to croak. He's getting stronger. Some of you ought to go back home and do what God wants you to do. Once you're freed from waiting to mooch off somebody else's ministry, then you can begin. Then you qualify to begin the journey of friendship that Brother Hyles has. You see, what many of you don't understand, I'm looking at the crowd here, and I shouldn't call any names, but I'm going to call a few. I see Dr. Bob Gray there, same place every single year. Graduate of Hyles Anderson College. I loved it. When I've heard him tell the story, he was in South Bend, Indiana, heard Dr. Hyles preach. Wasn't a fundamentalist like he is now, nothing like he was then. But where'd he go to get fundamentalism? Brother Hyles. Brother Hyles isn't jealous or worried because Dr. Gray has a school. He pumps it up. He gets us in our staff and faculty meetings. He says, do you realize we got a little piece of that action down there? He says, maybe it's 1% or 10% or no percent. He says, that's one of our boys down. He said, man, I'm excited. He prints his numbers in the sword, and the revival fires, we print our numbers, and Brother Hyles will come and say, look at that, he's come up to us. He says, man, am I excited about that. Many of you couldn't handle that. He likes that. You understand that Brother Hyles is a competitor. He loves competition. Didn't he say to you men who got the swords tonight for baptism? He said, if I were you, I'd go back home. I want to let these buzzards win it next year. I'd win it. Isn't he the man that says, I'm a competitor? I can see two doodle bugs on the sidewalk and stop and pull for one of them. Bless God. He wants you to succeed. He wants you to build the biggest cat and picking church in the world. But you won't, because he'll still be ahead of you. And if you did, he wouldn't say, I'm going to pout. I hope he croaks so I can take his ministry. You see, once you're delivered from competing with somebody like that, you can be the friend. Do you ever get intimidated, Brother Scott, preaching with Brother Hyles? Not at all, man, because he's not intimidated by me. Do you think he worries about how good or bad a preacher I am? Look, at last night when Dr. Smith preached and Dr. Lacey followed him, do you think Brother Hyles is pulling for one to be better than the other one? Like you feel when you're preaching with somebody? Hope so-and-so doesn't do too good a job. He'll show me down, you know. Hey, let me put it real simple here, and I don't mean at all to demean Brother Paul Johnson, who quoted the Bible tonight. He works in our mission. I'm going to borrow a line. I probably shouldn't say this. Dr. John Stantz was talking to Brother L. Lacey. He says, don't worry, you're just following a mission man. You know what? Do you realize that mission man, God got all the glory in that one, man. No doctor, anybody took the glory from God in that one. Do you think Brother Lacey's worried about preaching with? No, he's not. But you would be. You'd be worried about preaching with Brother Hyles. You'd be worried about preaching with Brother Lacey because Brother Lacey's a good preacher. But Brother Smith is so smart. He did well, those guys get a home run, bases loaded last night, I thought. I sat at the platform and thought, man, this is awesome. These guys are awesome. I didn't say, they're showing us up. Showing us up. No. They're our friends. I mean, the happiest I am is when they succeed wildly. When you give Dr. Lacey and Dr. Smith a standing ovation, Brother Burr, boy, Monday night, I was in there saying, his Jesus sermon's better than my Jesus sermon. You kidding? Put them both together, you wouldn't do one thing good for Jesus. I mean, the thing is, you couldn't magnify Jesus enough. And he hits a home run. Boy, he smacked a big one, picked up a big bat, and cracked a home run, bases loaded. And I started thinking, that's the problem. He's outshining us again. Hope he dies soon so I can take his ministry. You know, so much pettiness is out there that you don't understand the friend, Brother Hyles. He wants you to hit a home run every time you
preach. He wants you to have a big day every Sunday. He wants you to build the biggest church God's ever built on the world. Because he wasn't trying to do it in the first place. His drunken father told him to, but that wasn't the call of God on his life. And when it happened, and he got the award standing here with the plaques, the largest in the world, he didn't say, "Got it! You child yourself, suckers." He ran back to his office and fell on his face and said, "I did it for you, Daddy." Didn't do it for you, he did it for his daddy. There's God. He wasn't trying to get something ahead of you. Now, that's all just the beginning here. First of all, he didn't get where he is trying to get where he is. Now, from that point on, we can examine a little bit the friendship philosophy of Brother Hyles, and just as I observe it next here. Dr. Hyles chooses his friends by what I call the prophetic pattern. Real important you understand this. So many of you have questions. Why does Brother Hyles preach for him and not him? Why is Brother Hyles friends with him and not him? I thought they were friends. And so many questions are answered when you understand how he goes about choosing his friends and how he goes about establishing and basing his friendships. Let me teach you what the prophetic pattern is. Let me say this. Prophetic pattern is anticipating the obvious because of a knowledge based on the pattern established. So what does that mean? I think the best way to illustrate is by just a simple music scale. Brother John Early, give me that C scale there. Y'all know the next note? La da 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 da. I got it. My mind said I heard the pattern. One more time, a little slower. My mind says, I know the next note. I know what he's going to hit next. La, got it right there. Hit it. Yeah, I knew that. I knew it all along. Now hold it. As you listened, you saw a pattern develop in your mind. Your mind said, done, done, done. I got it. Done, got it. Done, got it. Done. That's right. La. I know the next note. And Brother Hyles has that wonderful gift of prophetic patterning. He watches people, watch them establish their pattern, and he can anticipate where they're going to wind up down the road. Now here's where you really got to be careful. Many of you don't study people well enough to determine that. So what happens is, in those notes there's only 7 notes, as you know, in the whole scale. You hear somebody hit one note you like. Give me that first note, John. Oh, I like that note. I read John MacArthur's book on the family. It's a real good book. Maybe you want to listen to the other notes he hits, though. I wonder what John MacArthur's note on the Word of God is. Oh, that wasn't the direction I was expecting. Maybe you should listen to the next note he hits on the blood of Jesus Christ. Oh, wow! That threw me for a loop. I wasn't expecting that at all. But I like that first note. Give me that first. He's a good man because he has one note I like a lot. Brother Hyles says, let's watch the pattern. Let's watch the pattern. So give me the pattern you just played there. He says, that's not where I'm going. If he had a nice note. Yeah, even rock and roll music has the same notes. It's the pattern of them. All of the Beatles' music use the same notes that Amazing Grace does. They patterned it different, though. And wise men watch the pattern of the notes and don't just listen for their favorite note. Well, so-and-so's right on the King James Bible. So he's my hero. How is he on soul winning? How is he on the other doctrines? How is he on marital fidelity? Sorry. You tend to do all your branding and labeling by one little note you hear. There's some guy, anybody holds the King James Bible, doesn't make them good. They're Catholics who use the King James Bible, folks. They're Presbyterians, United Methodists, liberal preachers who hold the King James Bible and says, when I prefer. Even the college, university where you send your kids use it. That doesn't make it right. Listen to the whole thing. Maybe a listen to where they go to church on Sunday mornings. Or maybe I ought to listen to why do they give academic degrees. I had a friend of mine call me up from down south, said my wife is attending a certain college, university, getting a doctorate degree there. The academic student of the week gets to skip Wednesday night church and eat pizza with the president and play games at his house. That's a real emphasis on the local church, isn't it? That's putting academics above it. That's taking the scale and going the wrong direction. Yeah, but they both believe in this, and they hit that same note. Hey, same note I hit. And my next note on my scale is, and their next note on their scale is, and we're going different directions. And you got to be careful. And Brother Hyles watches that pattern and says, hold it. I'm going to watch him for a little while. He watched Brother Jeff Owens 3 years before I hired him. Why? I want to see what pattern he develops. He watches a man and watches a man and watches a man, and then when he sees a pattern established, he says, I now know what characterizes that man. That's so important. But first, you had to set your pattern. He didn't say, I'm going to go to that conference, that meeting, and see if I like what they say. Yeah, I went to shepherd school. I like some of the notes they hit. He didn't say that. He picked up his Bible, got on his knees, and said, God, what's the pattern you want me to live by? And he says, that's the pattern I'm going to use in judging everybody. By the way, it's the same pattern you're going to get judged by Jesus Christ. So he chooses his friends by prophetic patterning. Next, we said Dr. Hyles listens for what direction the scale is going. Is the man going toward up? Is he going up? Is he going down? Is he moving toward more strict, more fiery, more soul winning, more local church kind of fundamentalism? Or is he cooling off and going down the scale? Hey, let me show you what I mean. Start different directions, John. Here's two different men in fundamentalism. Let's see what they're doing. They're the same note. Must be exactly alike. Keep it going. Whoops. You have watchmen. I played one of them Tuesday. A man who was on the same note with us for a while, but he pulled away. And away and away and away and away until the severance had to come. Now, it's so important that you watch long enough before you jump on to decide where is he going to wind up. Next. What is the pattern? Hit the C. Now skip up a bunch of notes. Skip around a little bit. Say, boy, he's going the right direction, but he doesn't have a pattern in his life. Unstable. I love the man. I like the man. He's going the right direction, but I can't trust him. He doesn't have the rhythm of it. La, 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 rhythm, 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 pattern. La, 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 la. Yeah, he's going up, but I can't follow the guy. He's going to land up the stream, but I can't figure out how he's going to get there. Like the man. I'd preach for the man. Wouldn't have him preach for me. That rhythm's missing. That pattern's missing. That consistency is missing. That leads me to the next statement. Is the man consistent with his pattern? Some of you men, for a while, it's, yeah, King James, Word of God. Then it's like, well, I think so. I think so. You read too much outside of fundamentalism, and it undermines what you said you believed. And so you equivocate. The note kind of gets hit in the middle, and it hits discord. Next. If he gets out of pattern, Brother Hyles says, can I help him get back? Give me that first note. Next note. Next note. Next note. Next note. Next note. Pretty consistent pattern, isn't it? Brother Hyles watched that man and says, I'm going to give him friendship. I understand. I think I know that man's characteristic. It's what every woman and man does before they get married. You date long enough to figure out the pattern of consistency. That's why you got to date long enough to do that. And once you've established your pattern, you can anticipate the future, so much so you say, till death do us part. That's all friendship does. Friendship says, I've listened enough to the pattern, I think pretty much I know where you're going to wind up in your life. Now, if I'm wrong, I'm willing now, from having watched the pattern, give me the same pattern again, John. Again. Hey, that guy's pretty consistent. Do it again. Hey, preaching with him and I heard him do this. He's preaching with me and I heard him do this. He wrote a book and I read it and it says, I heard him talking to somebody the other day and he said, I heard him commenting on editorial. I saw his library and it had these books in it. I think I can trust that man. Now hold it. Once you've established that pattern, then you say, I'm going to give you the glue of friendship. Just like marriage. I commit now to you. You see, too many of you heard that one note. Okay, I like it, so we're our friends. And then you hear your friend being kicked around like we kicked John MacArthur on here, and that bothers you, it aggravates, irritates you. You should have taken time to date a while before you married. Should check that pattern out a little bit. Now, hold on, what happens after you say, okay, I established the pattern. Okay, I'm going to give you friendship. Now, watch what happens and notice the difference between you and Brother Hyles. Go up that same scale. Man makes a mistake. Oh, no. That's not characteristic of him. And Brother Hyles says, I got to get to him because that is not what he's like. I can get him back on track. We all know fiery preachers who lambast sin and kick it hard and scream, and they can knock the microphones over. But the difference is when those men are screaming and hollering, and if you fall down, you know what I'm talking about, those screaming, hollering men, I love them. Thank God I'm one myself. I love screaming and hollering, spitting all over. But a lot of us who scream and holler, you won't call us because you're afraid. We'll stick our finger at you and say, jerk. And you know Brother Hyles be saying, hold on, I'll pull you up. Down the human heart, crushed by the tempter, feelings are buried that grace can restore, touched by a loving hand, wakened by kindness, cards that are broken will vibrate once more. And Brother Hyles, that friend who says, I watched you long enough, I saw the pattern, and when you get out of line, put it there, pal, I'll pull you back up. So the man lives his life, makes a mistake. Brother Hyles runs to him, gets him back on track. And that man says, that's my friend, Brother Hyles. You circle around and say, another one's about to go. One less preacher I got to compete with. One less ministry I got to worry less about. Hallelujah. Brother Hyles says, one less soul he ain't going to win. I got to get him. He can win souls. Brother Hyles senses the disharmony and says something's wrong. That's not characteristic of that man. He needs me. I can help him through his life. Back to tune again. You say, that's those preachers for you, a bunch of fornicating reprobates. Why don't they get out of the ministry and make room for men like me? Now, aside from the arrogance and conceit and pride of that statement, I wouldn't want you for a friend. And the problem is, we wouldn't want you for a friend, and that's why you have a hard time being our friend. And you feel left out and alone, and you feel like then you've got to get your followers another way. You come to meetings like this and say, he better say it just like I think you ought to say it, or I'm going to stand up and walk out of his meeting. Good. So you hit the sidewalk outside, what you going to do? You come to a meeting like this and say, I don't agree totally just like you, Brother Hyles. Okay, so you stand up and say, I'm going to make my statement, walk out there. We think your bladder control problem is acting up again. You walked out and made your statement and said, there, I showed them, man, I'm my own man. Yep, both you guys can now drink coffee at Dunkin' Donuts. What preacher hasn't felt the temptation to quit? To go into sin, to throw it all in, and to throw in the towel and run away. What preacher hasn't felt the demons of hell attack his soul and his spirit and his mind and flood his thoughts with fear, wondering if anybody understands, if anybody truly cares? Sure, maybe you were standing too close to the edge. You're on shaky ground with your wife, your children, your marriage, your members, your finances, but the intense pressure buckled you and you collapsed and fell. Okay, we all know that man sins because he's wicked and vile and rotten. Oh, wretched man that we are, right? But when you're down in the moral cellar, and you're down in the spiritual cellar, and you're down in the mental cellar, and you're down on yourself, and down on God, and down on your call, and down everything else, you reach the phone and call 219-932-0711 and say, can I speak with Brother Hyles, please? And the voice says, hello, this is Brother Hyles. Can I help you? What's up, Doc? He said, Brother Hyles, I made a mess. He says, you come meet with me and we'll put the pieces back together. Let me ask you something. When you make a moral blunder or a financial blunder or a spiritual blunder, who's the first person you think you got to get to because he can help me? That's your friend. And most of the people that you have, even some that you preach for you, some of the people you love the most, hear him preach, would be the last person you'd call on the phone because you know you wouldn't get a, hello, can I help you? You get, well, what's the matter with you, you reprobate? Two more statements. Dr. Hyles decides how he wants to feel about you when he buries you. When he sees your body in a coffin and he performs that ceremony, long time before Dr. Rice was buried, Dr. Hyles decided, here's how I want to feel about that man when I bury him. Some of you ought to decide that. You know why? Because you're killing your children's heroes. I'm so glad that man did not destroy my heroes. Dr. Rice is my hero. You know, when they had a little disagreement about tithing, Dr. Rice found out that Brother Hyles disagreed on tithing. Brother Hyles went to him, bought him a brand new suit, brand new coat, brand new hat, brand new shoes, put it on his body, gave him a hug and said, Dr. Rice, I love you with all my heart. He honored the man. You know what? He let me keep my hero. I thank Dr. Hyles for that. One of the only men I've ever met who is truly a friend. Thank you, Brother Hyles. I love you.
All right. Everybody get seated now and get your places. I hope that you are getting the idea that I'm trying to get you to be my friend. I have one already, but I may need one. I stay in around. I may need one someday. Okay. Bibles, please, to the Gospel of Luke. What I'm going to say, some of you have already heard. Luke chapter 22. 2. Verse number 47. I would quote the entire book of Luke. I just don't have time right now. Check with me in about 30 years. I'll be able to then, because I'll be up there where all of us will know it. Luke chapter 22, verse 47. While he yet spake, behold, a multitude, and he that was called Judas, one of the 12, went before him and drew near unto Jesus to kiss him. But Jesus said unto him, Judas, betrayest thou the Son of Man with a kiss? When they which were about him saw what would follow, they said unto him, Lord, shall we smite with a sword? And one of them smote the servant of the high priest, and cut off his right ear. And Jesus answered and said, Suffer ye thus far. And he touched his ear and healed him. Then Jesus said unto the chief priests and captains of the temple and the elders which were come to him, Be ye come out as against a thief, with swords and staves? When I was daily with you in the temple, ye stretched forth no hands against me. But this is your hour and the power of darkness. Then took they him and led him and brought him into the high priest's house. And Peter followed afar off. I'm going to ask you to put your Bibles up and your pens and pencils and all your notes. I want to talk to you for a few minutes. Looks pretty dark out there right now. It's easy to get here, and all of us here, and get a little confidence and think everything is all right. But we come from 46 different states, 13 different foreign countries, and once tomorrow comes, we'll be spread pretty thin across this nation. Jesus said, This is your hour and the power of darkness. Our Heavenly Father, I pray you to help me to encourage the hearts of these dear people. Some here are fighting battles at home. There's some who dread to go back. There's some who will be afraid to walk to their pulpits on Sunday morning. There's some who do not want to go back to the burdens and heartaches. Help me to encourage them in these few moments, please. Amen. We won't turn to it, but in John chapter 7 and verse 20, it says his hour was not yet come. In John 8 and verse 30, it says his hour was not yet come. In John 2 and verse 4, Jesus said at the marriage and wedding in Cana of Galilee, Mine hour is not yet come. In John 13 and verse 1, it says Jesus knew that his hour was come. And then in Matthew 26 and verse 45, it says the hour is at hand. Neath the stars of the night walked the Savior of light in a garden of dew-laden breeze. Not my will, but thine be done, cried the Father's own Son as he knelt neath the old olive trees. Neath the old olive trees, went the Savior alone on his knees. Not my will, but thine be done, cried the Father's own Son as he knelt neath the old olive trees. The echoes of the upper room can still reverberate through the darkness of the garden. Let not your heart be troubled, is not yet cool, it's still warm in the ears of those who heard it. You can still feel the hands of the Savior as they washed your feet, and you can still feel the towel. For just a few minutes ago, a little while ago, when the upper room was shared with those disciples, comes a band of men, officers from the chief priest, Pharisees, to arrest him. His hour has come. He said, This is your hour and the power of darkness. This is their hour, the officers from the chief priests and the Pharisees. And then Judas of the 12 comes, places the kiss of betrayal upon the lovely brow of our Savior. This is your hour, Judas. This is your hour to take the 30 pieces of silver. This is your hour to betray the Son of God. But enjoy it. It's just going to be an hour. Soon he's taken to the palace of Annas, the high priest. Annas was no longer the officiating high priest. He was sort of the high priest emeritus, I guess you'd say. Still far and away the most influential of all the priests, though he was up in years. He examines Jesus. He binds him, delivers him to Caiaphas. Caiaphas was the son-in-law of Annas, and he was the reigning high priest at the time. Caiaphas asked Jesus of his doctrine. He asked him concerning his disciples. And one of the officers strikes Jesus, and soon his death is proposed. This is your hour, soldiers. This is your hour, Judas. This is your hour, officers from the chief priest. This is your hour, Annas. This is your hour, Caiaphas. He then is taken to Pontius Pilate, the Roman governor. He acquits Jesus of all evil and wants to release him. But like you, he wants to be popular more. He gives orders to scourge Jesus. This is your hour, Pilate. This is your hour, men from the chief priest. This is your hour, Judas Iscariot, with that burning kiss of betrayal they placed upon the brow of our Lord. This is your hour, Annas. This is your hour, Caiaphas. This is your hour, Pilate. You dirty, stinking coward, you. He's released to the soldiers. The soldiers scourge him. Take the cat of nine tails and 39 times lash that whip loaded with lead and metal across the back of our Lord. And as those soldiers hit him, I simply say to them, this is your hour. It's your hour, band of men, officers and the chief priest. This is your hour, Judas Iscariot. Squeeze your money tightly. This is your hour, Annas. Caiaphas, this is your hour. Pilate, this is your hour. Soldiers, beating him with the cat of nine tails, hold firmly that whip. Enjoy every lash. This is your hour. He then is taken to Herod. Herod wanted to see him perform a miracle. He had heard about his miracles. And Herod suggested to Jesus that he perform his miracles. But Jesus was not a charismatic and did not commercialize his miracles. He refused to do so. It's your hour, Herod. It's your hour, men of the chief priest. It's your hour, Judas. This is your hour, Annas. This is your hour, Caiaphas. This is your hour, soldiers. This is your hour, Pilate. This is your hour and the power of darkness. Back to Pilate he goes. From Herod. Pilate lets clamor prevail and lets him be crucified. Declared his innocence and punished guilt. Accused guilt. Squeeze all the fun you can while you can. Soldiers, this is your hour. But I got news for you. An hour doesn't last very long. An hour ends just a little while. Brother, if you want to live for the little while, you go ahead. I'm going to live for the long while. Squeeze all the fun you can Annas. He enjoyed trying him, Annas. This is your hour. But it'll soon end. So enjoy it while you can. Enjoy it, Caiaphas. In the zenith of your ministry as the reigning high priest, holding your hands, you think the destiny of the Son of God, but the destiny of the Son of God is not in your hands. It's in his heart that's filled with love for sinners. This is your hour. Enjoy it, Caiaphas. Enjoy it, Annas. But an hour ends. This is your hour, Pilate. Enjoy it. But an hour will soon end. This is your hour, Herod. But enjoy it, because the hour will soon end. Enjoy your lying, false witnesses. This is your hour. But an hour will soon end. Enjoy crucifying him, soldiers. Enjoy placing the nails in his hands and his feet, the crown of thorns upon his brow, and lashing his back with a cat of nine tails. Live it up, fellas. Enjoy it. This is your hour. But it won't last for long. Because it's Wednesday today, but Sunday morning's coming. You got the shock of your life when Sunday morning hits. Wednesday night will pass. Thursday morning will pass. Thursday night will pass. Friday morning will pass. Friday evening will pass. Saturday morning will pass. Saturday evening will pass. But praise God, Sunday's coming. So enjoy arresting him, soldiers. You won't enjoy it so much on Sunday morning. Enjoy crucifying him, men, with the nails in your left hand and the hammer in your right hand. Enjoy it. But I want to remind you, Sunday's coming. Enjoy guarding him Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, soldiers, because you're going to be unemployed on Sunday morning. Sunday's coming. Enjoy the 30 pieces of silver Judas Iscariot. Sunday morning, you'll wish you'd never done it. And you'll throw that silver down. Judas Iscariot, don't you live for Wednesday. Don't you live for Thursday. Don't you live for Friday. Don't you live for Saturday. You'll wish for eternity you'd live for Sunday morning. Enjoy your screaming, you angry mob. Crucify him. Crucify him. Let Barabbas go, but crucify him. Live it up. Live it up. But I got news for you. As sure as Thursday's coming, Sunday morning is also coming. Don't you judge what's going to happen by what happens on Wednesday afternoon, brother. Sunday is on the way. Enjoy gloating, you Pharisees. Sunday's coming. Enjoy writing, you scribes, the stories about his death. But you got an amazing story to write Sunday morning for the Sunday paper. Enjoy your happiness, Sadducees. You don't believe the resurrection now, but you will in 3 days and 3 nights. I say Sunday's coming. I say Sunday's coming. I say Sunday's coming. I say Sunday's coming. Enjoy your freedom, Barabbas, but enjoy it while you can, because Sunday's coming. Enjoy your influence, Annas, you sorry hypocrite, you. I want to remind you, Sunday's going to come. Enjoy your power, Caiaphas, of being the high priest, and as it were, thinking that you could hold the destiny of the Son of God in your hands. You enjoy it, but I've got news for you. Sunday's coming. Enjoy your popularity, Pontius Pilate, but you'll be sorry on Sunday morning. Enjoy your fun, Herod. Make fun of him. Ask him to perform some miracle for you. Ask him to commercialize his deity and his miracles. Go ahead, Herod, but I'll guarantee you one thing. When Sunday morning comes, you'll wish you'd bless the Son of God. I'm saying Sunday is going to come. Enjoy yourself, homosexuals. Enjoy your feminine dress, homosexual malettes. Enjoy your service in the armed forces that one of your good buddies, Bill Clinton, has made possible. Enjoy your queer rights ordinances. You say, Brother Hyles, I'm homosexual. Don't you love me? I love you, but don't shake my hand. I don't want no man tingling when he touches me, brother. Go ahead and enjoy your queer rights ordinances. Enjoy your queer parades. Enjoy your stinking earrings. Enjoy unisex philosophy. Enjoy your stinking demonstrations. Enjoy your queer marriages. Enjoy your queer adoption. But I got news for you queers. Sunday morning is on the way. Go ahead and make fun of us now, brother. We're just a minority. We don't have 1 million people in Washington, D.C. We work for a living. We ain't got time to go. We haven't got 1 million people in Washington, D.C. We're sort of a little minority. But let me tell you something, brother. On Sunday morning, there were 11 apostles who were a big majority. Sunday's coming. I said Sunday's coming. I said Sunday's coming. Enjoy yourself, baby killers, with your hands dripping with innocent blood. Enjoy yourself, Bill and Hillary, you dirty murderers who shed the blood of life. You ought to be in the penitentiary. But it's no surprise you were a draft dodger back in the war anyway. That's one reason we probably did a better job in the war. We'd have won that war if Hillary had been in the army. Enjoy yourself, doctors, you murderers. Enjoy yourself, you anti-lifers, you abortionists. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy your dirty murders. Enjoy it. But I got news for you. We should have been pro-life when Sunday morning gets here. Enjoy yourself, casino crowd and lottery crowd. With your hands dripping with the money, the unholy money, and working for the dollar. We had a bunch of politicians sat right over here, one here and here during election not long ago. I guess about 15 of them over here is election time. They always come on Sunday night before election. I said, I'd like to ask you fellows something. I said, is gambling against the law? They said, yes. I said, why haven't you raided the Catholic Church across the street? Their bingo parties. Why haven't you, how come you voted to legalize the lottery? You just live it up, you little two-bit politicians. You just go right ahead and do all you can to squelch old-fashioned fundamentalism and the old-time religion. You go right ahead and pass every kind of law you want to pass, every kind of ordinance you want to pass. But I want to tell you something, brother. You better behave yourself. We're going to be in charge Sunday morning. I said Sunday's coming. I said Sunday's coming. Enjoy yourself, rock music crowd, with your sensuous filth. And that goes for you charismatics playing it with a bunch of stinking little religious words too. Boy, there's nothing needs a revival anymore than the music in our churches. We have a rule here at First Baptist Church. For every one new song that's sung, 9 songs 75 years old or older must be sung. Enjoy yourself, rock music crowd. Michelle Jackson. Enjoy your little marriage to make you look like a man. It didn't work. Your makeup gave you away. And yet some of you little stinking teenagers, just that garbage. That's almost as bad as you moms and dads that allow them to do it. Enjoy yourself, rock concert people. Enjoy your lewdness. Enjoy your liquor. Enjoy your dope. Enjoy your dirty music. Enjoy it, Rolling Stones. Enjoy it, Prince. Enjoy it, Madonna. But I'll tell you one thing, brother. When Sunday morning comes, he'll be the Prince. I said Sunday's coming. I said Sunday's coming. Enjoy it, Hugh Hefner, with your dirty playboy philosophy. Enjoy it, charismatics, with your popular Christianity. Enjoy it, Schuller, MacArthur, Hyles, Swindoll, Dobson, with your convictionless Christianity, catering to a pagan world. Enjoy it. Enjoy your national articles, Mr. Hyles, telling about how you have all the drama in your church and how you went from house to house asking the people what they wanted in a church. Brother, I went from God, or from my house to God's house, asking God what He wants in this church. Enjoy your publicity, because Sunday morning you won't be able to buy an ad in the classified section. Thank God Sunday's coming. Hang in there, preacher, discouraged. Sunday's coming. Hang in there, preacher, embattled by a board of godless deacons. Sunday's coming. Hang in there, person who's sick and you're afraid to get up in the morning and wonder how long you'll live. Hang in there. Sunday's coming. Hang in there, little widow, with your husband gone, rearing your children by yourself. Sunday's coming. Hang in there, little lady, with your husband run off with some whore somewhere, and you got to rear the kids by yourself and be a mother and a father. Hang in there. Sunday's coming. Well, glory, Sunday's on the way. Enjoy yourself, HBO. You'll be has-been only on Sunday morning. Enjoy yourself, Showtime. You'll be no time on Sunday morning. Enjoy yourself, NBC. You'll be BVDs on Sunday morning. Enjoy yourself, CBS and ABC and Movie Channel. Enjoy yourself, soap operas. Enjoy yourself, Hollywood. Enjoy yourself, Oprah. Enjoy yourself, dirty talk show host. Enjoy yourself, you backslidden Christians that watch that kind of garbage. I say enjoy yourself. Praise God, Sunday morning is on the way. Sunday's coming. I said Sunday's coming. Enjoy yourself, Sondervan, with your NIV. When Sunday comes, we'll close you down and sell King James Bibles in your bookstore. Enjoy yourself, Nelson Publishers. Publish most any kind of Bible that you can make a buck on. Enjoy it. Hey, join the Judas Iscariot crowd that'll sell Jesus out for a paltry sum of money. Enjoy it, but you wish on Sunday morning you'd stay with your King James Bible. Enjoy yourself, so-called Christian radio. Enjoy yourself, so-called Christian TV. I got more respect for HBO than you guys that'll turn your television, make a television station and call it Christian, but it's nothing more than a substitute for Christianity. It's as heathen and pagan as atheism is, and not near as deadly. Enjoy yourself. Sunday morning's coming. Enjoy yourself, universities and colleges, shaking the faith of the youth of America. Enjoy yourself. Sunday's coming. Enjoy yourself, seminaries, public schools, while corrupting the minds of our young people. Enjoy yourself, Baylor University and Southern Seminary and Southwestern Seminary and Dallas Seminary. I said enjoy yourself. Enjoy yourself. Yeah, laugh at us now and make fun of us now and call us dumb now and call us illiterate now. Call us what you want to call us now, but bless God, you're going to call us on Sunday morning. I said Sunday's coming. I said Sunday's coming. I said Sunday's coming. Enjoy yourself. Wheaton College, Moody Bibles Institute. Enjoy yourself, Hamilton County Baptist Association. You voted out Lee Robertson, but Sunday morning he'll vote you out. Enjoy yourself, Tarrant County Baptist Association. You voted out John R. Rice back yonder. One of these days he'll have his headquarters in your associational building. That's on Sunday morning. Enjoy yourself, London Baptist Association. Voted out Charles Spurgeon. Only 7 of you rascals that stand up and vote for him. Live it up. Bless God, Sunday's going to come. Enjoy yourself, Dallas Baptist Association. When you voted out Joe Boyd and Jack Hyles, I was down in Dallas not long ago. I was driving down a highway, looked up. I didn't know it was there. They'd changed the location. There was a sign, said Dallas Baptist Association. October 10, 1957, they excommunicated Joe Boyd and me. October 10th is the Day of Atonement in the Bible. On the Day of Atonement, they took 2 goats. They killed one and sprinkled blood of him on the other and led the other in the wilderness and don't ever come back. They killed old Joe and sprinkled his blood on me and led me out in the wilderness. I saw that sign. It was about 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. I pulled over beside the road and parked in front of the Dallas Baptist Association. I got me a 3x5 card out and a pen and wrote him a thank you note. Last year at the National Southern Baptist Convention meeting, one of their keynote speakers stood up and made this statement. He said the biggest mistake that Southern Baptists ever made was voting Dr. Jack Hyles out of the Southern Baptist Convention. Well, he may think it's a mistake. I want to thank him with all of my soul. And the very guy that made the motion wrote me a letter less than 2 years ago, and he said, my church is dying and I need some help. Could you give me some ideas how to get my church alive? I want to tell you, brother, it was Thursday or Friday then, and it was Saturday then, but Sunday comes after Saturday every week. Enjoy yourself, Nebuchadnezzar. Enjoy it, Nebuchadnezzar, and your judges and treasurers and counselors, while you put the 3 Hebrew children in the fire furnace. Enjoy it, because Sunday morning you're going to see somebody else in that furnace in there with them, and Sunday's going to come. Enjoy yourself, Darius, when you put Daniel in the lion's den. Enjoy yourself, presidents and captains and princes. Enjoy yourself. Let's just put it here. President and vice president and Congress and Supreme Court and the president's cabinet. You enjoy yourself. And you say what you want to say, brother. The day's going to come when Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton will bow their knees and their tongues will confess that Jesus is Christ, the glory of God the Father. And the blood of every little baby that they've murdered with their laws and lack of them will rise up in judgment against them. Enjoy yourself, state of Texas, while you're trying to get rid of Lester Roloff. Sunday's coming. Enjoy yourself, Presbytery, who would not ordain Dwight Moody. Live it up. This is your hour. But Sunday's coming. Enjoy yourself, Haman, while you make those gallows for Mordecai, because you make him befit yourself. And one of these days, you'll hang on those very gallows you made for somebody else. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, one of these days, the liberal preachers and this liberal philosophy and country of ours will hang on the gallows they've made for independent Baptists. Enjoy yourself, Goliath. You're going to lose your head Sunday morning. Take courage in battle, preacher. Sunday's coming. Take courage, cancer patient. Sunday's coming. Take courage, broken-hearted parent. Sunday's coming. Take courage, lonely widow. Sunday's coming. Take courage, weary father. Sunday's coming. Take courage, Mary Magdalene. Don't cry too much there. You're going to be in for a surprise. That's not the gardener you're talking to. That's the Savior you're talking to. Take courage, you disciples on Emmaus journey. You don't even know who that is. You think that's the Jesus. You think that's a Friday or Wednesday or Thursday or Friday. No, that's the Sunday morning Jesus. That's why you don't recognize him. That's the glorified, reigning Christ. Sunday is here. I said Sunday's coming. I said Sunday's coming. Thank God Sunday's on the way. It's Wednesday night now. But it ain't but 4 days from Wednesday to Sunday. Enjoy yourself, Dr. Custer. With your dirty Alexandrian Bible, calling us a bunch of nitwits. Let me tell you something. We knew we were nitwits a long time before you did. And I'd rather be a nitwit with the right Bible than a PhD with the wrong Bible. Bless God, I'd rather study my ABCs in heaven than Greek and Hebrew in hell. And I'd rather ride a tricycle to heaven than a jet plane to hell. Enjoy yourself, Dr. Custer. Sunday's coming. Enjoy yourself, Nelson Publishers. Make all the money you can, because Sunday's coming. Enjoy yourself, Supreme Court, that took the Bible out of our public schools. On Sunday morning, we're going to force your kids to read the Bible with our kids. Enjoy yourself, Charles Stanley. You dirty deceiver. Well, lightning didn't strike, did it? You think I'm mad at Charles Stanley? I talked to God this morning. He's furious about him. He says some good things. The devil says some good things. Pope says some good things. Enjoy yourself. Oxford Press, American Bible Society, Gideon's. There was a day when you used God's Bible. Enjoy yourself. Wheaton College, Bob Jones University, Pepsi-Cola University, enjoy yourself. I'd rather have a Diet Pepsi than college that doesn't let their students go to church. Enjoy yourself, Trinity Broadcasting Network. With your old wife dressing like a kid. Sunday's coming. Enjoy yourself, James Kennedy. With your cute little kimono that you wear while you preach. Sunday's coming. Enjoy yourself, Roberta Schuler. Oh, hogwash. Sunday's coming. Enjoy yourself, National Council of Churches. Sunday's coming. Enjoy yourself, Promise Keepers. Sunday's coming. Enjoy yourself, Jerry Falwell, who used to come to this pastor school and sit here and learn till he outgrew us. Enjoy yourself. But Sunday is going to come. And let me tell you something else, Mr. Jerry. There's be no such thing as a Baptist Notre Dame. Enjoy yourself. Sunday's coming. Enjoy yourself, Pat Robertson, with your words of knowledge. Hold it. I see somebody out there has a gallbladder. Look, Dumbo, everybody out there's got a gallbladder. Hold it. Hold it. Somebody's got a left foot. Look carefully, Pat. There's a right one right there beside it. Hold it. I see somebody that's sleepy. Sure, 5,000 of them here right now. That is a bunch of garbage. I want you to know, ladies and gentlemen, we're not very popular now, but we'll be elected Sunday morning. Yes, we will. Enjoy yourself, John Ankerberg. Enjoy yourself, so-called Christian bookstore. Enjoy yourself, ASV, RSV, NSV, New Schofield, New King James, Reader's Digest Version. Enjoy yourself, American Bible Society, American Baptist Convention, and Southern Baptist Convention. Well, you say, I am a fundamental Southern Baptist. And you're probably a black white man, too. There ain't no such thing as a fundamental Southern Baptist. Well, you say, I'm trying to clean it up. Well, good. You can do better than R.G. Lee, W.A. Criswell, Jack Hyles, Joe Boyd, Lee Robertson, all of us did. You ain't going to clean it up. They done messed you up. You know the story. Little boy. That's, to quote a famous preacher, that's my introduction. You know the story, little boy reading a book one day. He's sitting there reading the book. His mama said, Johnny, come dry the dishes for me. He said, Mom, I can't. I'm reading a book and I'm right in the middle of the book. And he said, the villain has got my hero down. I can't leave my hero right now. I said, come and dry the dishes, Johnny. Mom, I can't come and dry the dishes. I'm right in the middle of the book, and I got to find out what happens. My hero is all down. The villain is winning. She said, I'm going to come in there and beat the tar out of you if you don't get in there and dry the dishes. Little Johnny looks over to the end of that book. He reads where the hero gets up and defeats the villain. And the villain is killed, and old Johnny walks in the kitchen waving the books. And yeah, old villain, you think you're having it good in chapter 15. You wait till you get to the last chapter, you're in for the shock of your life. Tuesday night, I heard the last chapter read. And if I remember correctly, Revelation doesn't stop at chapter 13. And if I remember correctly, Revelation didn't stop at chapter 14 or chapter 15 or chapter 16. Brother, it didn't stop until King Jesus had split the skies and called us up to himself, and Sunday morning came. On Wednesday, the enemies of the north are going to come. Ezekiel 38, Russia, Libya, part of Germany maybe, Turkey, Iran. That's on Wednesday. They're going to come down and attack little Israel and attack the mountains of Israel. That's on Wednesday morning. On Wednesday night, the Western powers are going to look over and say, have you come to take a spoil? We're going to come. You're not going to get that wealth in the bottom of the Dead Sea and all the wealth of Israel. So the Western powers under Mr. Clinton or some other Antichrist will come. Let me repeat that. Under Mr. Clinton or some other Antichrist will come. Somebody said, are you going to vote for whoever runs against Clinton? I said, if Garfield runs against Clinton, I'm voting for Garfield. My favorite politician is whoever runs against Clinton. My favorite football team is whoever plays Notre Dame next Saturday. My favorite preacher is the one that just left the convention. And so I forgot the battle's going on here, man. So the armies from Russia and Iran come down upon little Palestine from the north. And then from the south, they come. Egypt comes and Libya comes. Little Palestine is attacked. Then over here from the west, the Western powers, if you please. Maybe the revived Roman Empire. Maybe the European common market. But the Western powers come. And they defend little Israel. And they fight in a great war on the mountains of Israel against Russia and her northern confederacy. That's on Wednesday. Thursday morning, there's a battle going on. On Thursday afternoon, the Euphrates River is dried over here on the east. On Thursday night, China and Japan come across that dried up Euphrates River to join the armies of the north and the south against the west. And on Friday morning, there's a great battle going on. On Friday morning, you got Russia, and you got Egypt, and you got Libya, and you got Iran, and you got Turkey. They marched on Palestine. Then you got the Western powers that come, and they fight, and they win. And then you got the Eastern powers, Japan and China, that cross the dried up Euphrates River, and that mighty battle takes place. And that battle takes place, let's just say, it takes place on Friday night. On Saturday morning, we find out that the Western powers have won. On Saturday morning, a man named the Antichrist, the man of sin, the beast, if you please, he's conquered Russia. He's conquered Iran. He's conquered Turkey. He's conquered Egypt. He's conquered Libya. He's conquered China. He's conquered Japan. And there he stands on Mount Megiddo as the king of all the world. It's Saturday night. He looks at the north and says, I've conquered the north. He looks at the south and says, I've conquered the south. He looks at the east and says, I've conquered the east. He looks at the west and says, I've conquered the west. But brother, what he doesn't know is the sun's about to come up. There's one place he didn't look, there's one place he didn't conquer, and there's one place that he can't conquer, and that's up there. And there he is, saddled on a white horse. Look at there, look at there. There I am on one too. God bless that old horse up there. He's sagging. That's Bill Burr's horse. Brother, every single born-again child of God who's been raptured and been up at the marriage of the Lamb and the judgment seat shall come back with King Jesus. Hallelujah. Praise God. The sun is shining. The sun is risen. The skies are opening. There he is. And thank God Sunday has come. There is a name I love to hear, love to sing its worth. Sounds like music in mine ear, sweetest name on earth. Sing it. Oh, how I love Jesus. Oh, how I love Jesus. Oh, how I love Jesus. Because he first loved me. Every once in a while, when the going gets rough back home, and the deacons don't raise their Bibles and shout, you get back in a room and get this tape out, and you just play it, Buster, and you mark it down. Boy, I can't wait till the tribulation period gets here. I was thinking what he was quoting all about the beast in Revelation, the plagues, all those old beasts, you know, scorpions, and he's falling off, getting bit by them. I couldn't help but see my professors there. I may miss a part of the marriage of the Lamb because I want to look down and see those old rascals get attacked by those locusts. You say, you got a bad spirit. Nobody is perfect. At 1:15, we'll have the afternoon session. You're dismissed.